Good evening, everybody. How are we all doing this evening, as it is here in Europe right now? I have no idea how it is where you are. Jamie Drummer, hi, Johnny Silk and friends. How you doing, Jamie? Nice to have you in. Ross too. Yeah, we're going to come to round 3 previews basically at the end. But you're right, Alcaraz Berrettini. That is exciting, and I'm looking forward to that. Okay, let's get to it though. We're here to review day 4. Second round in the bottom halves of the draw. So let's get straight to it, and let's get to my first tweet. Great. Now you have processed that. Let's get to Emma Raducanu, who is second on the menu today, basically because it was a shock. It was a shock to me. I thought she might come unstuck in the third round, where she would have faced Simona Halep, but I didn't see this coming today. I thought that she would overcome her opponent Danka Kovinic. She pushed it to 3 sets. Obviously, she had the blister. Let me know in the chat how much you think that did basically affect the result. She didn't use it too much of an excuse, but it did kind of affect her in the third set, particularly with those sort of forehand slices that she actually joked about afterwards. She said, actually, I'm not bad at the old slices. I might do it more often. I think if we look at the bigger picture, though, with Raducanu, I think we can sort of kind of say that actually it's been a good tournament. I know it's only lasted 2 matches, but I think that victory in the first round was massive. And I think a fully fit Raducanu today, she had blisters on her hand. Yeah, I think, and I saw some of you mentioning about blistering forehands and blistering shots and blistering performances. I like that. Yeah, the blister dictated the result. Her forehand was weak and killed her most of the match there from Colby. Nice to have you in the chat there, by the way, Colby. Yeah, I think that's arguable. And I think on a healthy, 100% healthy day, she probably, going to 3 sets as well, I think she probably does prevail. Nothing against her opponent, who did great, 98 in the world, and we'll play Simona Halep next. Anything else? Well, the seagull brought us a bit of amusement, definitely. That sort of gave us a few minute pause. I don't know if you all saw the match, and that was kind of amusing. But ultimately, a disappointing result, but plenty to look forward to. Emma Raducanu, still at the tender age of 19. I think she's on for a good year. We'll see how she gets on with the American swing coming up in March. Obviously, Miami and Indian Wells is back round again, even though it was just a few months ago. And she'll be looking to improve upon last year's performance at Indian Wells, where I think she went out in the first round. Okay, moving on. Another shock exit, I would suggest. Muguruza going out. I don't know about you, but I did not see this coming. I watched this match. I was listening to Ben and JG's commentary of another match, but I was paying attention to Muguruza, who went out to Elise Cornet today in straight sets. And she said in a press conference afterwards, she said, I didn't feel my game. I thought I served badly. I didn't take my shots well, and I made tactical mistakes. I mean, what more could possibly have gone wrong for Muguruza today? I really don't know. And I don't want to take away too much from Elise Cornet, but I do think that Muguruza's performance was strange, particularly how well the last 6 months have gone. Obviously, winning the WTA finals in Mexico last year in Guadalajara. I didn't see this result coming. I didn't see this performance coming. But it is a performance, and maybe I should have seen it coming, because it is a performance that in slams, we know she's won more than one Grand Slam. She can do it, but that was a few years ago. And in the last 2 or 3 years, she will throw in a strange performance from time to time. We remember 2 years ago in the Australian Open final how she choked, basically. And I think it was 2 double faults in a row against Kenin in 2020. And yeah, I'm at a loss, but we have seen this before. Is it too dramatic to say, can Muguruza win a Grand Slam? Am I going a bit over the top with this? Let me know in the live chat. In fact, I'm going to come to the live chat now. I'm going to just put this screen on here with a few other results while I head back to the live chat to see what you guys are saying. Am I being too harsh on Muguruza? Is she being too harsh on herself? Kaz there. Very shocked to see Muguruza out. Yeah, likewise. I feel the same. Let's have a look at that. Mateball Stars. Alice has won against Muguruza many times, and I also thought she might lose, but straight sets. Yeah, exactly. Alex, crazy day, Silk. Gaming tonight, Muguruza, a huge upset. Emma, because of the blister, wasn't. Okay, interesting. Hi, Jean, as well. Michael suggesting maybe I'm being over the top. Maybe I am. Maybe I am. But would you back Muguruza to win a slam with any sense of conviction or confidence? Bearing in mind it's 7 matches that you need her to be reliable for. And I don't know if we can rely on her. And then, of course, adding on to that, it's not Grand Slam tennis of 2 or 3 years ago where we're kind of looking at Serena Williams. Is Serena Williams going to perform? And if she performs, she wins the tournament. But is someone going to be good enough to beat her? That's not where women's tennis is at now. Women's tennis is at a completely different place where there are any one of 20 winners. And with it like that, I don't know. And by the way, there's a lot of people much younger than her. Of course, we've mentioned Raducanu as well. You know, I know Leylah Fernandez went out in the first round, but there's, you know, Coco Gauff as well. There's so many youngsters now. I don't know. Maybe I'm being over the top. Let's see how the next 12 months pans out. I can still see her winning 250s and 500s, of course, but to win a slam, not so sure. Jared saying Muguruza is a one-dimensional player, serve and power. Many players are more versatile. Yeah, I see where you're coming from there. I think she's got a bit more to her game than that. And I think on her day, she's got the complete package to beat anyone in the world. The problem is to win a Grand Slam, you've got to kind of do that 7 times in a 2-week period. And I think we see that on the men's side as well, perhaps with Shapovalov and Felix to some extent, albeit that they're a bit younger. So yeah, okay. I think we've done Muguruza there. If I say to you, audience, the next person on our agenda is someone who's a little bit prone to double faults right now, can you guess who I'm going to be talking about? Of course, it is Sabalenka. I watched this match, and I tell you what, it's painful. It's painful right now watching Arina Sabalenka. Snail there. No great prizes for guessing that I was going to talk about Sabalenka next. Yeah, I mean, she won. Let's look at that. She produced 19 double faults in total today, and she still won. Which I think is a compliment to the rest of the game. The rest of her game is there. The rest of her game is there to win a Grand Slam finally. I mean, she is the number 2 in the world and the number 2 seed, obviously, here in Australia. But 19 double faults. And I first of all want to come to something she said before the match, which is that she thinks it's technical. She doesn't see it as a confidence thing, despite the fact, obviously, many people have suggested it might be. I'm not sure if it's Pat Rafter. Tell me in the chat if you know. Somebody was talking to her pre-match about what she could do to try and improve things. I think one thing that she did do yesterday, which I think is a good idea, is she didn't do the underarm. Okay, and what that might win her points, by the way, as opposed to losing the point. But I don't think it gets her out of the rut. I think she's got to play through this. I think she's got to go through it. It might end up costing her a match, but I think the way she's going to emerge from this double fault yips-like thing, yips being the golf term for, anxiety in this moment, I think she's got to keep going with the normal serve, so to speak. But she says it's technical. I suggest it's confidence. Other people are suggesting it's confidence too. Mark Philippousis, thank you, Gene. I knew it was an Aussie. It's Mark Philippousis who was suggested it was confidence. I think they did have a chat, exactly. They had a chat before. Thanks, Gene. Thanks, Kieran, as well, for that. Thank you, Ruari, for the super chat as well. Loving the Silk reports. John keeps killing it. Appreciate all the takes and always excited when I hear you on the pod. Thank you very much for the compliment and thank you very much for the super chat. Definitely fire away some questions as well, Ruari and anybody else, and I'll try and address them perhaps at the end. So Sabalenka, yeah. Why do I think it is confidence and not technical as she suggests? Philippoussis, I think, has also suggested it's confidence, and she's also. And I'll tell you why. And I can put it down to this: it's the variety of double faults. If it was a technical thing, you would expect to see the same double fault over and over again. You'd expect to see a double fault always clipping the net, or always going low at the net, or a double fault that she was always going long on, or wide to one side or the other. But she's actually doing all sorts of different double faults. They're going into the net. They're going miles long, that they're almost landing in Sydney rather than Melbourne. So for me, that's confidence. She's throwing the ball too high, Fatima suggests. Yeah, possibly. But I think that is also an anxiety thing. You might say it's a technical thing that needs to be adjusted, but I just think it's anxiety. I think it's incredible that she's come through it. But every time you're watching her, you're going, oh no. I mean, she did 19 in total, 6 in the first game. So her average, if you like, got better. But she's still winning matches. Now, I know she is playing slightly lower ranked people at this stage rather than those to come. I hope she can come through it. But listen, I saw a stat that was produced, I think, during the third set, which said that she has hit in all her serves this year, each point, 50% of her points this year on serve have been double faults. That is an insane statistic. I can't remember, and I've been watching tennis for 35 years. I don't remember anything. I've seen players have yips. I've seen players have dips. I remember Nadal 2016, 2015, this period, when he went out to Djokovic at the French. You're going through a confidence phase where, he just wasn't competing at slams until he finally got out of it, I think, at the beginning of 2017 when he employed Carlos Moya. I've seen other players go through dips and confidence, and sometimes they never return from it. Other people get angry with their game. We all remember, shock early retirements, etc. Yeah, thank you very much for that stat. 109 serves, 59 double faults, over 50%. I don't remember someone having a so stark, so obvious issue with such a particular part of the game. I didn't know. She may have changed her racket, but yeah, which I think is another example of the fact that this is a mental thing. This is not a technical thing. Probably there's nothing wrong with it. By the way, talking of just confidence in general with tennis, I find so her changing the racket, I think, is particularly interesting. I find when I see a player, the French player, I think Garcia does this sometimes. When they have a good point, they win it. Maybe a bit of luck, maybe a bit of genius, whatever. And they say, I want that ball again. I want to take that ball again, and I want to use it. And of course, we know it. It's superstition. It's a confidence thing, etc. I worry when I see that in a player. I do worry when I see that in a player because I think it's almost too superstitious, because then, of course, when something changes, that then blows everything. And I don't think it works. When I'm playing tennis myself at the club and I see other people doing it, it fills me with confidence and I completely ignore it. I win a point and I see the ball and I don't care if I use that ball again personally. And I think it can throw you when it doesn't work. Now, I know, of course, everyone's going to point out other people with their superstitions, particularly Rafa Nadal with the way he does it and the bottles. But he's been asked about, are you superstitious? He's like, no, it's so I get a routine and it's so I can focus. I think when you take that ball again, or you do change your racket because you're doing it, I think you can lose focus in that moment because you're so insistent on using that ball. And if you lose the next point, then that can disrupt you, I think. And so I don't like to see this in a player, and I would rather not. But listen, Sabalenka won today, double faults galore, no underarms. I think is the way to go for her, and just play your way through it, and hopefully she can do it before this tournament's out. Gary San Loren, I'd like to come to see what you've got here. John, have you watched Sabalenka in slow motion? I asked if she's actually looking at the ball when she makes contact. This makes for wildly erratic results. That's a really good point, Gary. And, well, erratic is the perfect word for her. Let me know in the chat if you think she can emerge from this rut in time to do well at this tournament. I'm worried about it, but is it something she can shake off on the practice court, or does she need matches to shake this off? Can she go a set without a double fault? Because she's basically going to have to. You can't give away 19 points in a match and expect to beat Simona Halep, Obviously, Osaka's on the other side of the draw, but you know what I mean. Thank you, Tati Champ, for the super chat. Yeah, you can't keep doing this. You can't you can't start a match with a 19-point disadvantage against the top 20 players in the world. And if she can still win those matches, well, hats off to her. I think it's amazing that she can win these two matches, by the way. Okay, moving on. We're just going to finish the women's side now by touching on somebody that I first saw play in 2006 in Melbourne. The one occasion I did go to the Aussie Open in 2006, I saw Sammy Stosur play Martina Hingis, and that was at the beginning of her career. It was kind of her breakthrough slam. It's great that Sammy Stosur went on to win a Grand Slam. She won the US Open in 2011, and here she is with her comment. I think it was in the on-court interview afterwards, or in the presser, sorry, because she didn't do that. She said, "I dreamed of winning a Grand Slam. To do what I've done, dreaming as a little kid, is phenomenal. And congratulations there on a wonderful career, a wonderful singles career." I think she's going to keep going the doubles, so it's not completely over, but yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to her. She lost to Pavlyuchenko 6-2, 6-2. Pavlyuchenkova. Pavlyuchenkova, by the way, is someone I'm keeping an eye on. I have a lot of time for her. She had her breakthrough slam, arguably, by getting to the final at the French last year. And quite late in her career, you would argue. And I'd love her. I would love her to win this slam, by the way, Pavlyuchenkova. But let's see. I don't think she's among the favourites, but who knows? Who knows if she can repeat what she did at the French Open last year? Okay, let's come to the men's side, and let's begin with Diego Schwartzman, who lost today in straight sets. Let's begin with this quote from his presser afterwards, quoted here by Jose Morgado. Schwartzman, very sad in the press as expected, said he's far from 100% physically and needed to win the first set to have a chance to win. I did a big effort today to stay in the match, he said. I knew that I was in pain but wanted to play. I didn't play well, though. And I think this image of him sums him up, basically. And looking very glum there in his presser afterwards. And yeah, I feel a bit sad for Schwartzman because I wonder if he's maybe peaked. Am I again being over the top with him? I mean, I guess clay is his top thing. Oh, by the way, Gary, thanks for joining the membership there. Great to have you on board. By the way, don't forget to hit the like button on the video. I'm loving all your comments and the likes massage my ego, which is great. And I'm loving how you're enjoying the Silk Report, and we're going to go do it. Van Lee there suggesting Schwartzman looked overweight. Yeah, perhaps that's a bit harsh. Perhaps he's not at his peak physically or mentally, but he certainly had a tough one today. And yeah, I don't know. Schwartzman is somebody I remember him at the ATP finals just over a year ago in London. The last one's there in sort of November 2020, and just seeing him and thinking, I don't know, 2019, 2020, he got to the semi-final, of course, of the French Open in 2020, and that's pretty much set him up for that. And I'm just wondering if Michael, Mr. Silk is an over-the-top posh version of GTL. Yeah, quite possibly. JG jumping in there with a Maradona comparison. Well, Maradona certainly. I remember reading once, by the way, or hearing from Maradona that he liked to eat 2 large pizzas whilst watching a match. But anyway, that's Maradona for you, a fellow Argentinian. So, Schwartzman. I don't know. I don't see Schwartzman having the game to break into the, say, top 3 or 4 players in the world. I don't see. And the serve is obviously the main thing, and I'm worried for him. I can see him still hanging around the top 10. I actually see similarities with Rublev. I don't know if they've got much more, if they can go much higher. Listen, this is a game of predictions, and it's a game of making an analysis, and who knows? I could well be wrong with Schwartzman, and we're looking at a future world number 1, but I'm not so sure. Okay, another person who... by the way, one more thing I want to say about Schwartzman. He didn't go out to a top player today. He went out to the world number 175 in Chris O'Connell. Congratulations to Chris O'Connell, of course. But world 175, if I'm not going over the top, then, a future world number 1 probably shouldn't be going out to, or future Grand Slam winner probably shouldn't be going out to 175 in the world. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say Rafa went out to people who were, at Wimbledon 2 or 3 times. We all remember against Brown, was it? Etc. And I know, but Rafa had already won 10 slams by that point. So chuck that idea in the bin. We're talking about somebody, can they reach the pinnacle of the sport? And I don't think Schwartzman will reach the pinnacle of the sport. That's what I'm saying. Pinnacle meaning win a Grand Slam or reach world number 1. I don't see it. And I don't think that's an over-the-top analysis. Yeah, Diego's playing to his full potential. That's my point, Michael, exactly. I don't see there being much more. He may have had an off day today, but in general, this is his limit. Okay, another person who lost in a surprising manner, and yeah, I think it qualifies as a shock, is Andy Murray today going out. I think him going out in general is not a surprise, but I think if he went out to Basilashvili in the first round, or he went out to a higher ranked player in the third round, quite possibly. But to go out to the 120 in the world in Taro Daniel, I mean, this tweet here from Stu Fraser from the Times says it all. I mean, he said he suffered his worst ever defeat by ranking at a major tournament, going down in straight sets. Of course, what this brings us to with Andy Murray is a much bigger picture. Andy Murray's, the wrong side of 30. We all know about the hip. We all know about his travails. I would not go as far as the Swedish commentator, former Grand Slam winner. I think he won 5 Grand Slam, Mats Wilander. I wouldn't go as far as him when he's sort of saying Murray should retire. No, Murray can choose that as and when. He's a legend of the sport and he chooses when he should retire. But are we now at a stage where Murray has to pick and choose, even the slams? Is he at a stage where, you know what? I'm not going to win another French. I'm probably not going to go deep at the French. So maybe I just need to focus on... And the reason I highlight the French in particular is because it comes so close to Wimbledon. Would a real full tilt at Wimbledon give him a chance of getting it to the second week? Michael mentioning Taro Daniel played really well. Hats off to Taro Daniel, yes. But should Murray now kind of streamline his calendar, streamline his focus, and just build a bit like Federer did last year to some extent? I mean, I know Federer played the clay court season, but it was just because he didn't have matches. I think with Murray, obviously, he could just focus on Wimbledon being in London, of course. Perhaps he could also look at the US Open, but just focus on those 2 slams for the rest of his career. Would that prolong his career? Would that also give him a chance of going to a second week? Because I think that's what we're looking at, really. I think if Andy Murray had won this match, by the way, and had got to the third round, I think, okay, it's not the second week, but I think we would look at that as a successful tournament. I think the fact he obviously went 5 sets in his first round against Basilashvili couldn't have helped. I did fear him in terms of energy. Vanch there, maybe he's being a bit harsh. Let's read what Vanch has to say. Murray won't get any better. He has limitations now. His hip issue is no joke. Yeah, fair comment there from Vanch. So I think maybe the best way forward for Murray, he'll know better than me. He knows his physical game. He'll have his coaches. He'll have his fitness team around him. Michael there, Murray's playing because he loves the sport. Completely fine with that. And he's good enough still to knock out players. And he's good enough to reach second and third rounds of slams and other tournaments. So he absolutely deserves a place there in a wild card. Of course, I think his ranking actually is creeping up again. I don't know if he'll ever, if he's going to make the top 100 anytime soon, but that's up to Murray, and that's another debate. I don't think it's retirement time here. That's for sure. I would like him to certainly play Wimbledon, but maybe just focusing on Wimbledon every year will mean he's got 2 more years in the game, and he may go deep. And it's just fun seeing him at Wimbledon. That's what I'll say. It's just fun, and long may that continue. Okay, let's have a bit of a roundup of other matches that occurred today. I think we'll obviously begin with Medvedev Kyrgios in that roundup. I mean, that's really probably deserving of a slot on its own, such as the magnitude of the game. I think that's fair enough to say. I mean, Kyrgios on his day, as he mentioned in his press conference afterwards, his performance probably was, he was really pleased with his performance, Kyrgios, despite losing to Medvedev today. He said in his press conference that actually I would have beaten 95% of the players that I would come up against on the ATP Tour, playing like he did today. And I believe him. If you could take a set off Medvedev, and he served well, Kyrgios, albeit that Medvedev out-aced Kyrgios by a statistic of 2-1. Gil Gross, by the way, friend of the pod, check out his YouTube channel as and when you can. He highlighted a really good point, though, regarding this serving statistic. We mustn't forget, when it comes to ace stats in particular, or even unreturnables, we need to look at the opponent, and we need to look at how good they can return the ball and how good they can get to it. I mean, it's like Djokovic, for example. You get an ace against Djokovic and you're doing pretty well. And I think Medvedev actually right now possibly comes in that category. And Gil Gross certainly thinks that it's actually Medvedev's unbelievable ability to get shots back and to return serve that actually brought Kyrgios's ace count down, so to speak. John Silk, you got the court wrong for the Medvedev-Kyrgios match. I don't think I mentioned the court. I don't think I highlighted which court that match was on, but perhaps I did. If I did, it was a slip. But I don't think I mentioned the name of the court. But because it wasn't, I know it wasn't on Rod Laver. I know that. It's actually, I quite like Kyrgios on some of those other show courts, so to speak. Yeah, good match. Kyrgios doing some of his tricks and stuff, which was great. Getting involved with the crowd. Something that came up in Kyrgios's press conference afterwards, by the way, as well as the 95%. Stat that he came out with was there was some, I think, ESPN commentators suggesting he might be retiring. It was on Rod Laver, was it, Gene? Okay. Yeah, okay, fine. I don't know if I touched on it. I think I said court, and maybe you thought I added a word to that. But anyway, not important. It's not something I want to talk about too much. Yeah, so some ESPN commentators got some word at some point during their commentary that they thought, or potentially, and they've got their sources, that Kyrgios might retire soon this year. Kyrgios was asked about this in his press conference, and he didn't exactly deny it, let's say. So, I mean, who knows with Kyrgios? It could have been a lazy comment to a friend, or just a careless comment to a friend, and then that's somehow seeped through to the media, and now it's out there. But he was asked in the press conference if he's going to be retiring anytime soon, i.e. this year. And he didn't deny it. He kind of, dealt with it. He didn't say he was going to be retiring. He didn't say he was planning on it. But if you're not planning on it, then you immediately say with conviction, no, that's rubbish. And I don't know where that's coming from. I have no plans to retire anytime soon. Kyrgios, interestingly, is 26 years old. And I'm sure Michael, who's a huge tennis fan and goes back much further than I do and has a far even greater depth of tennis than I do, but he will remember or will be aware that's also the same age that Bjorn Borg retired at. Now, Kyrgios will be turning 27 in March or April, so in the next few months. But I don't know. I mean, that would be a Kyrgios type thing, wouldn't it, for him to retire? And I know what Robert Stallings is saying there with saying he's basically retired. I get that. Yeah, I do get that. That he's basically semi because he's not traveling a lot. He's not going everywhere. Anyway, but we'll see. We'll see. Who knows? He'll be back in a year probably, and all of this will be forgotten. But retiring at 26 would be a Kyrgios type thing, and then having a comeback at 36. Bjorn Borg, by the way, tried that. He retired at 26 and tried to come back 8 or 9 years later, and it didn't look good. Okay, let's have a look at some of those other matches we've got on the screen there. Tsitsipas went through 4 sets though, dropping a set. If Tsitsipas is gonna progress far in this tournament. Not so sure. Actually, let me know in the chat. I didn't watch this match. Was there any signs regarding his elbow, etc. today? I think the doubts around Tsitsipas are still there. I think the fact he's got to the 3rd round though is kind of good news. The way he was like 4 to 6 weeks ago, I didn't expect him to be at the tournament. And even 2 weeks ago during the ATP Cup when he had his elbow in plaster or whatever, I was thinking, not sure if he's going to even make the 1st round, or if he's going to pull up short. So. Yeah, Eddie Mayer coming up with a good point there regarding Bjorn Borg. Yeah, he did come back because he was broke. I think he might have gone bankrupt. He certainly had some financial issues there. And of course, why would Kyrgios retire at 26? That's a great point, Michael. Bjorg had retired with 64 titles. Yeah, but Bjorg's retirement wasn't like, I've done it. I think he was just frustrated with the sport. I mean, golf, a bit like tennis, it can be a lonely individual practice at times. And especially when you're on court. It can be so frustrating. But anyway, Gene, back to Gene's comment here regarding Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas had loads of unforced errors. Didn't have any pain in his elbow. Okay, thanks for that, Gene, because I wasn't able to catch the match today, so I can't elaborate too much. But I still don't see Tsitsipas going even to the semifinals where he got, obviously, last year. I think Tsitsipas is due to play Sinner in the quarterfinals, should they progress, and that's where I see his thing. If he stays healthy, gosh, he has all the skills. Yeah, I agree. He does have all those skills, Gary, Tsitsipas, but can he stay healthy? There is still a mental fragility to Tsitsipas, I think still, and he hasn't, it's not just this injury as well. He's not really played well since the French Open. He had an unbelievable clay court season, was getting better and better and better throughout that clay court season, peaking, I think, at the French Open, which is obviously what you want, and getting to the final, and probably peaking after about 2 hours at that final when he took a 2-set lead, and hasn't been at that level since. I'm sure he'll get back to it. I'm just not sure that he's going to get back to it in the next 10 days or so, which he'll obviously have to if he wants to win this tournament. Rublev going through, fairly unremarkable. That's great. But Rublev, that's Rublev. He beats players that are lower ranked than him. That's why he wins 250s and 500s, but he doesn't win Masters and he doesn't win Grand Slams. And of course, he's in the same half as Medvedev, and he doesn't beat Medvedev. I know he beat him in the warm-up, one of the warm-up tournaments last year. I think it was in Cincinnati. But if you're thinking that Rublev can beat Medvedev, I would say, what's the evidence for that? So anyway, that's getting a bit further in the tournament. Felix's progression in this tournament, still dropping sets. I mean, that was a really tight match today. All tiebreakers, winning in 4 sets. I'm going to ask you guys, because I don't know, if I'm honest. Do you have Felix getting to the semis or even the final? Let me know what you think in the chat. I think I've got Sinner against Medvedev, because I think Felix would potentially be playing Medvedev in the... Who's Felix got in the 4th round? Let me know, actually, in the chat. Potentially on his route. I'm not quite sure. Sinner, they're going through in straight sets. That's a great sign. As I said, I've got Sinner in my semis, and I see no reason to change that right now. Towson, Ben, I'm sure you'll be very pleased about her victory against Kontaveit today. That's an impressive one. But let's end with Swiatek against Halep. Yeah, Felix is going to play Evans in the next one. I know that. Yeah, but I want to know where Felix is coming. I'm trying to look a bit further. Thanks. Yes, Neil, that's exactly what I want. Felix is due to play Medvedev in the quarters. Yeah, that's what I want to know, and that's where I see Felix's tournament coming to an end. Of course, they played in the US Open, if I remember rightly. Did they play at the semi-final stage at the US Open last year, and Medvedev won comfortably? So yeah, that's that. But anyway, let's get to Swiatek and Halep, who I think arguably the 2 strongest women left in the draw on the bottom half. We've already spoken about Sabalenka's, travails. So I would probably put her below these 2 right now in terms of favourites to get to the final. Muguruza's obviously gone out as well. So, and Osaka, of course, and Barty are on the other side. And Raducanu's gone too. Let's not forget that. So Swiatek and Halep, I see, has been the 2 strongest people on this side. I see Swiatek as being more likely than Halep. Let me know if you disagree with me in the chat. I've been watching Halep for 2 or 3 years now, obviously winning Wimbledon a couple of years back. She is looking dangerous, Almino, but I don't know. I've got a feeling for Swiatek being the more likely to win the tournament, is what I'm saying, and to make the final. I see if it's a toss-up between Swiatek and Halep, I'm coming down on the Swiatek side. I just see her game being a bit more recent, if that makes sense. Halep obviously was injured last year. Gene disagrees. He says Halep looks much stronger to me. That's fair enough. Swiatek has improved her serve a lot, says Kay. Yeah, I like that point. And I do think the thing, of course, the doubts about Swiatek are, is she clay court only? That's, I guess, the big question. I don't think she is, and I think the fact that she's improved her serve is a great one. JG, having Swiatek as his overall winner, keen to mention that. Who's Ben's overall women on the women's? Oh, hang on a second. Ben's gone for Barty. What a surprise. The world number 1 and home favourite. I went for Barty as well, by the way, but we don't need to talk about that. We're not here to talk about my predictions. We're here to talk about others, and that's fine. Okay, let's come to any other business. Like and subscribe, by the way, please. JG, boring Ben. Boring Ben predicts Barty. That could be the next one. That could be the next headline. Ben goes for Barty. What a shock. Absolutely. So, yeah, like and subscribe the video. These, by the way, are going to be on every day, the Silk Report. We're going to have them every day. So we're going to be doing that. And hopefully going to get quite a bit more consistent on the time. I'm actually on holiday for my day job. Or I say my day job, it sometimes ends up being night job too. But I'm actually on holiday from tomorrow morning, really. So hopefully we can get pretty consistent on a time with this. But that'll be coming to every day, more or less this time. And excuse me, but that's about 6 p.m. German time, Central European time, 5 p.m. In the UK. And so therefore, if you're in the North America or South America, let me know where you're actually watching from. Actually, let me know in the live chat. Ben suggesting sensible Ben regarding his prediction. Yes, sure. Yeah, let me know in the live chat where you are. And I'm going to try and guess what time of day these will be coming on. Let's say they come on today at 6 p.m. That would be 6 p.m. Central European time. Seattle, USA. I'm going to guess right now, Dominic, that in Seattle it is 1 p.m. Snehill in India, I'm going to guess right now it's about midnight, maybe even 1 a.m. Michael's in New York, I'm going to guess that it's about 3 p.m., 2 p.m. there right now. Troy's in Australia, where I'm guessing it's 5 a.m., I think, if I've got that right. Jean in South Africa and Fatima in Germany. This is much easier. I think you're both the same time as me. Is it 7 p.m. in both? Let me know if I'm wrong on that. Oh, Dominic, I'm way off. I think I said 1 p.m. It's 10 a.m. there. Michael's 1 p.m. Okay, I was a bit closer on that. Troy, boom, 5 a.m. Got it. Bang on. Let me know if I got Montenegro, Boban, you'll be on the same time zone as me, I think. So I guess it's 7 p.m. there too right now. Fatima, yeah, of course. Oh, so you're an hour ahead, Gene. Gotcha. 8 p.m. in South Africa. So that's cool. So yeah, if you can set your clocks for say 3, 4 p.m. I'll try and do these as soon after the day ends in Australia, if you like, over the coming 9 days or so. And so they'll be going live about sort of 3, 4, 5 p.m. German time, but we'll try and get a fixed time on that over the next few days. Gunnar, why am I not in the UK? Got offered a job in Germany. So boom, here I am. Well, I applied for a job in Germany and then they offered it to me. I didn't get headhunted. I've never been headhunted, actually. I want to be headhunted. I had to beg JG and Ben to be let on. It took me about 6 months of messages and then another 6 months of just appearing on the stream. So I'm in a situation where I have to apply myself, let's say. But one day I'm looking forward to being headhunted. I'm looking forward to the ATP giving me a call saying, John, we've seen you on Game to Love. Seen you on Game to Love. We want you. We want you to head up our new project. We want you to head up our 5th Grand Slam. By the way, where should we have a 5th Grand Slam? I think Djokovic wants it in Belgrade. Where do you want to see a 5th Grand Slam, should there be one? I'd like it here in Bonn in Germany, just so it saves travel. That would be great. Okay, like and subscribe. One more thing. Let's do a very, very quick preview of tonight's matches that'll be covered on GTL and any other matches that you might be interested in. Nadal Khachanov, which will be on tomorrow morning, German time, about 9, 10 a.m., something like that. I'm worried about Nadal. Khachanov has the weapons to damage him. I think Nadal's form has been okay at the Aussie Open, but it doesn't fill me with huge amounts of confidence, especially a guy who can serve well and especially a guy who's got a good backhand. And Khachanov serves well and has got a good backhand. I know the head-to-head, I think, is 7-0 in Nadal's favor, but hey, let's see. I think Nadal also probably needs to win it in straight sets. I think he dropped a set at the US Open in 2019. Has Nadal got the fitness or even the confidence to win a tight 4 or 5 setter? That's something we don't know. Osaka, Anisimova. Is that an easy match? I mean, Anisimova did well in the last round. I'm tipping Osaka, but let me know in the live chat if you think otherwise. And then, of course, we've got Azarenka against Svitolina as well. Let me know in the live chat the time of that one. I'm actually not sure on what time. Is that which is the first one on this evening? Come to just quickly in the live chat while we do that. Yes, if Khachanov turns up, maybe it could be tight. Have not seen Nadal this tournament, but I can't see Nadal not going through. Khachanov is so up and down. Yeah, Gene, it's not an easy match for Anisimova. That's true. Yeah, let me know on the timings for this, for the Osaka and Anisimova. I know Nadal is on pretty much last, I think, on Rod Laver. That's something that Nadal won't want either. I'm sure he would have liked a daytime match. But yeah, Colby's also leaning Osaka. I'm leaning Osaka. That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, and Gene's saying that I think so Azarenka Vika is probably second up. Am I right? Or maybe even first up, actually. And JG saying there Osaka is on at 8 a.m. So obviously the Osaka and Nadal's matches for most of us, at least here in Europe, will be on tomorrow morning. But Azarenka Svitolina tonight, just in a few hours. Guys, 39 minutes. Nice. Looking forward to seeing you again. Similar time tomorrow for the Silk Report. Like and subscribe and speak to you soon.